Hello, welcome to Spring. As part of this video, we are going to see how to build a smart chatbot or how to build a chatbot with a memory which can recognize you and which can process your requests for subsequent requests and responses based on your conversation or your details what you had given it. So that we are going to implement it. So to implement this one, what we are going to use it. So what technology we are going to use it. So to implement this one, we are going to use the Spring Boot to build the Spring services, and we are going to use the Spring AI to get the AI capabilities, and we are going to use the Gemini, and as part of that we are going to use the Vertex AI. And the next thing is to build a chatbot application. We are going to use the ReactJS with White and Node.js and Bootstrap for some of the CSS styles. Okay, so these are the tech stack we are going to use it. So next, so how we are going to build these things? So we are going to build these things with 4 steps. The first thing is we are going to get the Vertex AI API service account, and the second thing is we are going to build the REST service, Spring Boot REST service with AI capabilities with memory. So this is the important point. And the third point is we are going to build the React chatbot application. And the fourth one is we are going to integrate with the chatbot with the REST API. But to make it simple, we have already built a simple a chatbot which don't have any memory capability. Also, we have a simple REST API which is having the AI capabilities which don't have any memory capabilities. So this is the basic step we have already built as part of the previous video. In case if you have not seen it, I'll recommend you go through the first video and then come back to you. And also you can able to find the full source code in the video description. So let's get started. First, what we are going to see, we are going to see the basic chatbot application which don't have any memory capabilities, and we are going to see how it will behave without any memory. So let's see. So let me start. So if you see the React application we have already started. This is a basic application and which we have already built as part of the previous video, but you can able to find the source code in the video description. So this is already running in the 5173 port. This is a React application or chatbot. And the second thing is the Spring AI or REST service we have already built which don't have any memory capability. It's a very basic one. Just directly it's calling the Vertex AI service. So let's see how we are going to check. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the a simple basic chat bot application which don't have any memory capability, how it will work. So first you can ask, give some details about you. Say for instance, my name is just prime. Okay, you just giving some of the details. I am giving training on Java and AI. So you are trying to give some of the details. Let's see um, what will happen after some time. Okay, so you said your name and you said you are giving some training on Java and AI. So that's fine. Now let me ask, it's just trying to give some of the uh, uh, basic response back. Okay, so what kind of training it is, something like that is giving. Now let me ask my name. What's my name? Because I have already told, right? So my name is just prime. What is my name? Let's see what it's going to respond. It's saying that I don't know your name because I just know I told my name. It's telling I don't know my name. So what is happening? The previous request it's ignoring completely when we are coming back to the second or third. So this is the limitation of the current chatbot. It's not recognizing you. It's not persisting any of your past request and response. So this is the limitation. So how we are going to solve this one? So to solve this one, what we are going to use it, we are going to add some of the memory capability into the service side to recognize you which user is interacting with the service. First we have what we have to do, we have to add some of the memory capability specific to the user. So which user is connecting to that one? For that what we are going to do, we are going to change a chatbot application little bit or simple way just to add or to generate some of the a unique user ID. So this could be anything. You can generate, either you can generate any unique ID generation, or if you have any session ID you can use it, or if you have any email ID you can use it. Any unique ID, if you have it you can use it. But in our case it's our simple chatbot application. We don't have any user specific details, but still we are going to use some of the Windows specific ID. If every time whenever user is opening like this, it will generate a specific ID, and we are going to interact with that ID as a unique ID or user ID. So that way we are going to use it. So to get that one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use one of the JavaScript library called UUID. So for that, what I had to do, first I had to install this library. First let me stop it. So this is UUID is one of the library which we can use it, and we can able to generate a unique ID at any time. So this is what I have just installed. So UUID, it's got installed, one package is ready. And now let me rerun our service. So now your service is up and running, and it's having one of the UUID. So how we are going to use that one, how we are going to generate a unique ID with that one. So first, to generate that one we have to import UID. So for that one I'm going to add a little bit code change. So we are going to import UUID. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to import UUID. So inside that there is a specific function called a v4. So that one I'm treating as UUID v4. So what I'm trying to do, I'm just importing a function called v4 as UUID v4, and that I'm going to use to generate a unique function, or unique function in the sense unique window ID. So that will be useful to recognize every time whenever you are opening the chatbot application, it will generate unique ID. So that I'm going to use it for subsequent conversation or history tracking purpose. So this is the first step. So we need to recognize the user completely a unique way. So that's the reason I'm using this UID. So what this UID I'm going to do, I'm going to call this function UUID and get the generated unique ID, and I'm going to store into the session state. So that's what I'm trying to do. For that purpose, let's call the real function. uh, what we are going to, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to call the real function what is we have imported. So with that, with the help of that, I'm going to get the, so that's a simple one. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm just trying to call the UUID and get the corresponding value, and store inside the state. So what it will do, it will try to read the UUID, and then once you got it, so let me store that one as user ID. So this one I'm treating as my user ID, and I'm storing into my inside the session. So now user ID is ready, a unique user ID is ready. So let me clear it out. So user ID is ready, so this is available inside the state. So now what I am going to do, this user ID or unique ID I'm going to pass when I'm making a REST call, or when I'm making a API call to the REST service. So that's it. So let me make it clear format. So I'm trying to generate a unique ID with the help of UUID, and then I'm trying to pass this user ID into the service as a query parameter. Now come back to the your service, and we are going to read that one here. How to read? That's as a request parameter. request param, and that we are treating as a string, and that we will treat as a user id or unique id. So whatever we are passing from the a Spring Boot application, that is coming to your REST service. Now the second step is here, right? So we have to add a simple a chat memory which can store a recent conversation which we have trying to get from the user. So for that purpose, what I am going to use it, there is a various memory models are available which Spring AI can support. Let me show you. So if you go to the standard Spring document, so this is the standard Spring document. Let's me expand it. Chat memory. So if we see the chat memory, right, we have various way we can define. This is the track the chat memories memory type. There is a message window chat memory, and memory storage we can do. In memory storage, if you want to use any specific database, we can use it, or if you want to store the chat message into the JDBC, that we can use it. So there are the various ways we can able to store the interaction. We can see Progress SQL, Postgres SQL, MySQL, SQL. There's various database it will support. So in our case, what we are trying to do, we are just trying to store a simple way, a message window, what user is trying to ask, the conversation, we are trying to store it. So this is the simple way we can use it, a chat memory, so that we are going to use it, and then it will store the memory into the in memory. Okay, so when the service is restarted, that in memory will be gone. So let me import the first one. Is we have to import the first one is chat memory. So this is the interface, you can import it, chat memory, and make this one as auto wire. So this is the first step. So now you have a capability where we can able to store the memory, right? So before storing the memory, what we have to do, we have to get the corresponding which user id, for which user id we are trying to stack, and what is the request and response, all those things we have to track it. This is the first step. Now your in memory is ready. So before that, tracking the in memory, what you have to do, we have to get the user specific details for which user you are trying to track the message. So this is the first step, user message. Okay, before tracking the user message, we have to track what is the query user is trying to ask. So that's the first step. Let me take the user query and pass it. So now user message is ready, where user is what kind of what kind of query user is trying to set. So now user message is ready. What we have to do, we have to track this query into the chat memory with the help of user id and user message. So whenever we are receiving any request, right, we need to track into the in-memory or database what kind of query is trying to send and which user is trying to send. That's the simple way. So user message is having the user query, and we are storing into the memory with the help of user id. So this is the second step. First step, what we have done, we just make ready user a chat memory, and second thing is we have captured the user query, and we are trying to store into the chat memory with the help of user id. So this step is done. Now what we have to do, now we are going to make a call. So we are going to make a call to the a real a chat model. It's Vertex AI, but we don't want to send the user query directly. Instead of sending the user query directly, what we have to do, we have to get the user query from the chat memory. So because the chat memory we have to send so such a way that when we are getting the response back, we have to send the past history and the current question such a way that when you are getting the response back, it will consider the past response appending with the latest response. So that's the main benefit of the this chat memory, and getting the entire response, history response and current query. We are not passing the direct query to the chat model. So this is a very important point, we have to understand it. So the next what we have to do, once we get the response back, we should not send the response as it is. We have to store into the chat memory, and then we can give back to the same response to the user. So now what I have to do, I'm going to copy the same thing here. Let me store the response back. Okay, so this is the same user ID, and I am going to take the response back and I will store it. So here we are storing the query, and here we are storing the response. And in this case, what we are trying to do, we are trying to give the historical response plus current query, such a way that it will understand what question previously user was asking and what is the current query. Accordingly, it will give the response back. So that's the way we can able to track history of the response, and based on the history of the response, we can able to get the latest response specific to the history. Okay, now let me display the user ID also. This is a user ID or unique ID what we have generated from the UID API. So this is the unique way you can pass this one as a session ID or email ID or account ID, anything which can be recognized uniquely in the database or chat memory, which cannot be duplicate. It should be unique one. So that's the reason you can use up to specific to your application. So now it's ready. Now let me restart my service. I'm going to restart. After that we are going to test it. Okay, so now we can see your service is ready. It's running under 8080 port. So let me go back to the your service and let me restart it. Let me close it. So this is the first window I'm just opening, and let me run it. So what I'm going to tell, first let me give some details about myself to the chatbot. So I'm going to tell my name is just Prime. So I'm just giving some of my details. So it's telling it just recorded, so okay, just Prime. So let me give some more details. I used to train people on various technologies like Java, ReactJS, and AI. Okay, so I'm just giving some more details. That's great, just frame. It's just saying that some more, it's just saying, okay, you are treating humanization, well, blah, blah, blah. Now let me ask some random question. What is Java? So okay, I'm just asking a question, simple question uh, to come out from the latest response. So it's just giving some of the details. That should be fine. And who is PM of ND, PM of. So I'm asking one more question. It's giving the answer. Now let me ask, who am I? What is my name? Let's see what it's going to. Yes, it's saying that now it's recognized it perfectly. So your name is just Prime. You told me beginning of your conversation. What training I am giving? It's telling clearly. You mentioned that you train the people various technologies like Java, ReactJS, and AI. Again, you ask your name, it will give. Okay, it's clearly it is recognizing. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to open another chat window. Let me open a different browser. Okay, this is a new browser I have just opened. You can assume it's a new client. So, what I'm going to do here, my let me ask my name. What is my name? It's saying that I'm I don't know your name because you have not told your name at all. So that's the reason it's not telling any of them. But let me introduce myself. My name is Ramu. I am a student and studying. So I said my name is Ramu and I am studying student. Okay, so that's about some introduction. Now let me ask my name. What is my name? So it's telling clearly your name. What I am, study, studying. So it's telling clearly you are studying BTech. Now come back to the other window and you can ask um, what I am teaching. So it's clearly it's saying that you are teaching React and Java. What is my name? You can ask. It's clearly it's saying that just prime. It's just clearly it's saying that I'm removing your name is just prime. Now you can come back to the other window and you can ask again here. So it's saying Ramu. I like Apple phone. Just I'm giving. So Ramu saying that I like Apple phone. Now come back to the just prime. I like Samsung phone. Given a typo, but let's see. Yes, it's understood you like Samsung phone. So now let me ask what is latest phone. So when I ask what is latest phone, what it will do, it will consider what are the phone I like, accordingly it will suggest. So I'm just asking what is latest phone. Let's see what's going to respond. It's saying that there is latest phones, various things it's doing. Google Pixel, Samsung, various things. Okay. And anything specific to what I like. So basically it is trying to give some of the response, but let me ask the favorite phone or my name, my name, the final question. So let's see. Finally it's recognized your name. Let me go back to the last one. Let me ask here, what is my name? So let's see. Yes, it's given clearly. So say that we can recognize, we can track the different users, we can track their history of the response and such a way that we can able to let me ask again, what is my name on what I'm studying, what is my name and what I am studying. Last question. So it's say clearly your name is Ramu and you are studying BTech. So now you can ask here and the same question, come back here and let's take the same question and let's see. So what is my name and what I am training. So it's saying clearly your name is just prime and you are teaching ReactJS, React Java AI. So see here we can see clearly it is memorizing everything for different users in a different way, but how it's happening with the help of user specific ID. So that user specific ID we can see clearly in the console. Let me open here. We can see here there is a two kind of ID. So one is 781 and there is another user ID called B40. So this is the way it is trying to recognize user specific history with the help of a unique user ID, and we can able to track or we can able to store that one into the chat memory, so that we have seen it. So this is one kind of memory we can use it to just to memorize what kind of queries or what kind of details user trying to ask and what kind of response we are giving to back to them as specific to the user. So that will be used for the subsequent conversation. Okay, I think that's all about this video. So how to memorize user specific request response and how to track it. Okay, if you like the video, you can subscribe the channel for more subsequent updates, and thank you.